The Quebec City Mosque, where 6 men were shot dead in January, has once again become the site of targeted hate. Last week, a mysterious package landed on its doorstep. The CBC's Justin Hayward tells us what was inside and why the mosque kept it quiet until now.
This mosque is no stranger to hate. In January, a gunman shot 6 people to death just after prayers. And now we're learning about an anonymous package delivered last week to the mosque's door. A shock to the mosque's president, Mohamed Labidi. We're trying to believe, he says, that only a few people are responsible for all this trouble. Inside the package, a Quran with the word Allah cut up with a blade, pictures of pigs, which Muslims don't eat, and an unwelcome suggestion. If you want a place to bury your filthy bodies, it says, here's a perfect location, a hog farm. There is no Muslim cemetery in Quebec City. Muslims have been seeking a good location for years. They had a deal to build one in this Quebec City suburb, but on the weekend those plans were scuttled when local residents voted against it. The mosque received the package on Friday, but kept it secret, afraid of how people might react just days before the cemetery vote. Imam Hassan Guillet was at the mosque last night, sitting with survivors of the shooting when they learned they were again the target of hate.
And some of the wounded people are in the mosque. So for us it's very emotional, very important, very human. And to come to that particular mosque in particular to deliver a parcel like that, it's very appalling.
It's not the only hateful incident Muslims at this mosque have experienced. Last year, before the shooting, someone left a pig's head on the doorstep with the message, Bon Appetit.
It's more than troubling, it's unacceptable and repulsive. We should all condemn these acts.
In Quebec City today, the Prime Minister reminded Quebecers of the outpouring of support in the wake of the mosque attack.
I saw myself how over 10,000 people came out in the streets to recognize that hateful act did not represent Quebecers or Canadians.
As for the cemetery, many say they want the province to step in because the little town can't solve its bigger religious divisions on its own. Justin Hayward, CBC News, Montreal.
Now, we should note, in Montreal, police have established an entire unit dedicated to investigating hate crimes. So earlier this evening, I had a chance to touch base with Lieutenant Detective Lynn Lemay, who leads that unit. Now, Lieutenant Detective Lemay, I'm curious to know, your unit has been in operation for just over a year now, and so I'm curious to know, what have you noticed, especially since the deadly Quebec City mosque attack in January, in terms of the number of incidents that people are reporting?
Well, for sure, since the creation of the unit, we can see that the number of crimes, a crime reported, and also incident, because we make the difference between a crime and an incident, which is a non-criminal event that happened. We can see the numbers that have really increased. And since the shooting at the mosque in Quebec, we saw that there was a lot more of reported.
And it's interesting that you make that distinction, because my understanding of the way your unit works is that anything that could even be construed as a hateful act or a hateful behavior is something that you would investigate. So tell me, what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, in practice, let's say someone says insult to a person regarding his sexual orientation or ethnicity or religion, or this is an incident. This is not criminal, but we're gonna investigate this incident as well. We're gonna try to support the person who dealt with it, because sometimes this sense of safety will be really affected. So we're gonna try to support this person, and we're gonna try to work with the person who did that to make sure that it's not going to become a crime later on.
And preventative approach. Lieutenant Detective Lemay, thanks for joining us here in the program.
You're welcome.